Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to this segment of Coach Gurbani's a-sabad-a-day. The recitation is Maj Mahalla Panjwa. Sun sun Jiva Soi Tumari, Tu Pritam Thakur Yat Pari. Tumre kartab tum hi jano, Tumri ot Gopala jiyo. Gun gawat man harya hove, Katha sunat mal sagli khove. Petat sang sad santan keh, Sada japo dayala jiyo. Prabh apna saas saas samaro, E mat gur prasad man taro. Tumri kripa te hoye pragasa, Sarab maya pratpala jiyo. Sat 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 prabh soi, Sada sada sadyape hoi. चलत तुम्हारे प्रगट प्यारे, देख नानक भय निहाला जियो. This is composed in Rag Maj by the fifth Nanak, Guru Arjan. And he begins by expressing a sense of wonder. You are the beloved, he says, Pritam, the supreme master, Thakur at Pari. Pari, grounded, unshakable. You alone, Tumhi, knows your works, Kartab. In you I take refuge. You are the protector of the earth, Tumri Ot Gopala Jiyo. I live by listening to you. Sun sun Jiva Soi Tumari. Listening here, of course, symbolizes living in harmony with Hukam. And how is that done? Gun gavat man harya hove, katha sunat mal sagli khove. By cultivating virtue, gun gavat, the mind is renewed, man harya hove. And then, by listening to the narrative of the enlightener, katha sunat, the mind's dirt, mal. This really refers to impurities, prevarications, the deceptions, the forgeries of the mind. The mind tricks us. That's the underlying assumption in Gurmat, that the mind is misleading. And so here it's called dirt, mal. And the opposite is nirmal. So the mind's prevarications are washed away. Mal sagli khove. Clarity is obtained. And then in association with true devotees, santan, and the presence of the enlightener, the Guru, the Sad, the perfected one, constantly gain insight and knowledge of that compassionate one. Sada japo, deyala jiyo. Japo, to understand, to gain insight into, and to pay constant attention. So this is the process that is constantly being reminded. Virtue cultivation, changing the thought patterns of the mind with Gurmat. And what that leads to is Prab apna saas saas samaro, ihmat gur prasad manataro. So assimilate mantaro, the counsel and the insight, ihmat, through the benevolence of the Gur Enlightener, Gur Prasad. And then recall and focus, be constantly aware, in other words, self-awareness on the Prab, which is the self within, with every breath, as a matter of fact. In other words, living with a particular kind of awareness and consciousness. Prab apana saas saas samaro. And then addressing the Supreme Being, with your benevolence, Tumri kirpate, the mind is enlightened, hoye pragasa. Now, what is enlightenment is obviously a subject that we cannot exhaust, but for our purposes, it is a sense of discernment between what is real and not real, as we will see in the following section. Sat, sat, sat prabh soi, Sada sada sad ape hoi. This is that discrimination, really, that we are talking about. You, the Prab self, Guru Arjan says, are eternal, pure, and existent. We have used three expressions of Sat, and we'll see what they mean. So you, the Prab self, are eternal. You are pure, you're existent. Forever and ever, Sada Sada, you are the presence. Appe hui. And in the end, says Nanak, I'm filled with delightful awe. Bhaye nihalla, my beloved, pyare, I'm filled with delightful awe when I watch your deception and manifestation, your hide and seek. Chalat tumare pargat pyare, dekh nanak bhai nihala jiyo. So in this passage, we are being told that we are truly alive only when we are possessed of love, when we have an integrated personality and a connection with our surroundings. And Gurbani usually describes this state as being in harmony with Hukam. And we see evidence of such an expression of love, trust, and faith in the Supreme Being in the opening section. What is truly important in the first section is to recognize the expression of love, the expression of trust, but also a sense of delightful submission to a wondrous presence that remains mysterious, because he's saying, Apne kartab tu ape jane. I don't have the capacity to really fathom you. But there is a submission. There is a sense of awe at this wondrous play. So the lesson to be gleaned is that we have to learn to connect and live in a presence that we call Akal Purakh and have several other terms that ultimately remains a mystery. We are, in fact, singing to an unknown self. And then let's consider the term Sat, which has been used thrice in succession. This really indicates three aspects of the Absolute, and it is conventional in Indian spiritual thought. So we have to always bear in mind that it is in that framework that the Gurus are engaged in this dialogue and discussion. It is a given. That is a given. So we have to understand the backdrop of Sat. What is the root? Where is this coming from? And why is the Guru addressing it that way? So he's saying that it is eternal. That is, it is unending. It is pure. That is, it is free of limitations of matter. It is existent. That is to say, it is real and present, what we call astitva. So Sat is Sat because it is characterized by a certain quality. That is to say, it is simultaneously present at the birth, at the disappearance or destruction of the universe, and the permanence behind it. It's present everywhere. And that is what arouses in Guru Arjan that exclamation of wonder and awe, vismadhi ho jana, at this capacity of the Supreme Being to be concealed and revealed at the same time, to be ever changing and yet not changing at the same time. That is what Ik Oankar is. Unity, diversity, ek hai, anek hai, simultaneously. And so this is the right knowledge, that this Sat is permanent, unchanging, and changing at the same time. So that's the right knowledge that we have to take away. And this, the Guru is telling us, comes through the power of discernment, Vivek Buddhi. The discernment to be able to discriminate between the real and the unreal. And it is this insight that we have to develop. and it is developed through training with the Gur Enlightener. So there are two pillars here. One is the cultivation of virtues, moral imperative, and the other is to assimilate the teachings, a world view of Gurmat. So without these two pillars, we remain deluded by wrong knowledge. With those thoughts, until the next time, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.